How was the party?
Aces.
He was wearing a woman's sweater. And he's drunk. Yeah, we're good parents.
Yeah, we're good parents.
My name's Simon. I'm just like you. I have a normal family, amazing friends, typical high school.
You know there's no texting in the halls, dude. Come on, I can't have all my students tendering it up.
Right.
That's my department.
A lot of my life is great, except I have one huge-ass secret. Hey.
Have you seen the new post? About the closeted gay kid at school. Who do you think it is?
Dear Blue, I'm just like you. Nobody knows I'm gay.
Dear Simon, it's nice to know there's another guy at school with the same secret. When did you first realize?
Dear Blue, it was a bunch of little things, like my first girlfriend.
I think I'm falling in love with you.
Be right back. Wasn't my proudest moment.
Simon, have you told anyone?
No, Blue, I haven't told anyone. Announcing who you are to the world is pretty terrifying.
Abby's the hottest girl.
Just not really my type. Not because she's black. I love black women. I just love all women.
Dear Blue, it doesn't seem fair that only gay people have to come out. Why is straight the default?
I have something I need to tell you. I'm straight.
I like girls.
You trying to kill me?
I like men.
Oh, God, help me, Jesus.
Sai, look at your computer. Someone leaked your emails on the school blog.
I'm sorry, Simon. I can't do this anymore.
I'm supposed to be the one that decides when, and how, and who knows, and how I get to say it. That's supposed to be my thing.
I think I'm destined to care so much about one person it nearly kills me.
Me too.
It's like I can feel you holding your breath. You are still you, Simon. Have you ever been in love?
I don't know. I think so. Dear Blue, I might not know your name or what you look like. I want to find you. I'm done living in a world where I don't get to be who I am.
Did you date me because you think I look like a guy?
No, I actually broke up with you because you don't look like a guy.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Welcome.
In comparing Dr. Mundy's article to Love, Simon, we first see Simon as a serious man on the outside, but a passionate man on the inside. He claims to have led a totally normal life with loving parents. His only flaw is his huge secret that he's gay, and he's on a quest to find a love that fulfills his desires. Simon does his best to conceal it by acting as other straight boys his age, attempting to attain the cultural perception of ideal masculinity as a serious man would. He grew up with an ex-quarterback father and had been socialized to pursue this masculine ideal. Searching for love, Simon starts emailing with a student at his school who just anonymously came out online as gay on the school blog and starts to fall for this mystery boy. Here, Simon asserts his personal freedom to venture into another world to explore his sexuality and attain love while not realizing his freedom with others because it is such a secretive thing. He eventually meets his mystery man in person and ends up openly dating him in the end. This displays how Simon is going against societal norms for men and choosing his own object he desires to love, just as a passionate man would behave.
Because there's so many different variables that go into it, but ultimately I think technology can be beneficial to the relationships around us in that it helps you connect with people. And you often hear people from previous generations say that technology divides us in some way because they think that it limits social interaction, but I think it's really the catalyst for this new age kind of social interaction.
Personally, I feel that technology and relationships has made relationships weaker as a whole, less intimate. So, because I know with my friends and stuff, we'll have a full meal and not say a word to each other because we're stuck in our phones. So I feel like positive and negative, not necessarily either one in particular, because I feel that that in some ways, you can connect even when you're not with each other, but you can also not connect when you're with each other. So it's kind of an endless cycle of the connection that you have away from each other, but you also lack that connection when you're with each other to an extent.
When asked if they thought technology has been a positive or negative influence on relationships, everyone we interviewed had mixed views on it, saying it was both good and bad. These results are coherent with the ideas depicted in the academic article Sexuality and the Internet Surfing into the New Millennium by Dr. Al Cooper. It examines both positive and negative ways that the technological age has affected the sexuality and interpersonal relationships of people born into it. Cooper says that many men tend to sexualize their world view and emotions. They use sexual interactions as both a way of self-soothing and of making effective connections with others. And today, these interactions are now more easily attainable with the internet. This observation can be compared to Dr. Mundy's idea of a serious man who works hard to embody the masculine ideal, which will guarantee him a certain kind of love from people who fit into and enhance their masculine image. From here, we are led to wonder if the way that the internet eases our ability to explore our sexuality could be leading to a more serious man type culture. However, Dr. Cooper's article also points out how internet users report an increased ability to self-disclose, take interpersonal risks, and feel more confident online, which is consistent with the beneficial views of our respondents. In Love, Simon and his secret admirer develop an anonymous online relationship in which Simon has a split personality online compared to his real one. This is one negative impact from the internet argued by the article, and that people can lead parallel lives which can hinder one's sexuality by worsening their conflicted feelings about whether to come out or not.
I guess typically the mother, I would assume.
I mean, I feel like they have more emotional attachment just because of the fact that you gave birth to them. So, you literally having that physical bond like that, I feel like alone should be. But that's not always the case.
This one's really like dependent on the people.
This one's kind of hard.
People who answered the question, who would be the most accepting of a child coming out, mother or father, and why, mainly answered their mother because of the emotional, nurturing nature that comes with being a mother. However, that is different depending on the relationship with your parents. How people perceive this can be related to one of our academic articles, Coming to Terms with Coming Out, Review and Recommendations for Family Systems, Focus Research, written by Lori Heather Riddington and Justin Lemire. It states that research on family has generally indicated that fathers are less likely to be told, less likely to be the first told, and likely to react more negatively to disclosures than our mothers. This article also proves that some studies have revealed the opposite. Then goes into detail about how different social upbringing factors also come into play. In the movie Love, Simon confides in his mother first, then in his father. When Simon confided into his mother first, his mom had a gut feeling that he was holding something for the past 2 years, that he wasn't as carefree as he was when he was younger. So his mom kind of knew. And then his dad kind of felt like guilty that he didn't know right away, and that he wished that he knew, because Simon knew for 4 years. So they were both accepting, and his dad apologized for all the gay jokes that he made that were offensive in the past. This also brought light about how growing up in a social climate where gay is being ridiculed increases the difficulty of coming out and makes kids hold it in and want to explore their sexuality a different way in fear of being themselves.
Because it depends largely on the traditions and the culture around that person. Because, I mean, there's not much you can do to change people's minds once they're set in a certain way. Because, like, by the time you're at that age where you would decide to come out, then people are pretty set in their ways by then. I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we could do to make it easier, like, systematically. But I don't know, maybe I know a problem that we have here in Alabama and most of the Deep South is that they don't teach sexuality in, like, health classes. They often don't teach much at all, to be honest, but especially not on, like, LGBTQ plus issues. They don't teach that at all. And really they just, if they do teach it at all, it's to say to stay away from it. I think it's easy, a really easy solution is to just teach it from the very start and just to help people understand, you know, that you shouldn't have this huge reaction. People shouldn't have to come out is the thing that I think. Like, no one has to come out as straight or as, you know, a certain gender that they identify with from birth. I think it's important to teach people that you don't need to have a reaction. You don't need to come out. That as a society, we shouldn't have to have that from the very start.
I think probably just put it out there and actually talk about it to people, because you talk about sex ed and stuff like that, so I just bring it in there on that part. But I honestly don't know.
How often were you taught about homosexual relationships in high school, and how were those that were already out as LGBTQ treated?
During high school, very little, almost zero. And then the ones that were treated kind of neutral. They didn't really get affected.
The academic article that I chose to tie these in with is The Trouble of Teen Sex. This article, The Basis of Adolescent Sexuality Through School-Based Sexuality Education, fails to educate teens on how to make healthy decisions and sexuality decisions and choices. It does not show a positive way to find their sexuality, and therefore not much was taught about coming out. In my opinion, schools focus more on sex, such as being safe with whoever the person you're with, and not more about, like, who you're going to do it with and why you feel that way and just your sexual orientation as a whole. I think kids need to be open to a lot more, and I think schools can do that to basically give more options to people and what they can choose to learn. Some quotes that Simon says in Love, Simon is, he says he's been thinking about why he hasn't come out in high school yet, and maybe it's because a part of him wants to hold on to a part of him on who he's always been, because once he comes out, he thinks people will think of him differently, but he's no different. You know, he wants people to see him as he's always been. And then the other quote that he says, no matter what, announcing who you are to the world is pretty terrifying, because what if the world doesn't like you? And I think that's the biggest part of why people can't come out, because it is terrifying, and if people doesn't like you, or, you know, they won't like you, then they wish they wouldn't have come out, and it just makes everything harder.
I think it's just personal to you.
Yeah.
I think whenever you feel like you're ready. It's probably going to be tougher when you're young, because you probably feel more ashamed of it and you probably think you're doing something wrong, whereas maybe when you get older you start to realise that this is just who you are, so it becomes easier for you.
I think the best age to come out to friends and family is any time that person is comfortable. I think that coming out is something that that person needs to decide when the right time is. I feel like you can't force that. Like, maybe Love, Simon, he was outed by someone else, and I feel like that's not right. I feel like if he wasn't ready, someone shouldn't have posted something like that and made him come out, you know, like told people. I feel like it's personal, like you should come out when you feel you're ready.
It's definitely evolved. The society's changed and evolved and become more and more progressive and accepting. it used to be so taboo, and now it's more so the norm.
I think it's easier for sure. Because I think in certain places now it's almost like trendy to be gay. Like literally, in certain cities it's almost like, oh, he's a gay guy, he's cool, and we love him. He's gay, but we love him.
I think we're only going to continue to evolve and progress and accept.
I think a lot more people are gay than we think as well. Like, I think a lot of people are just living in denial, just because it's. I don't know how I'd come out to my parents. Honestly, like if I was gay, I think it would be super difficult.
Same. It would be difficult.
I think they'd accept me, but I think it wouldn't be an easy thing to do. And you probably just overthink it as well.
And it deserves to be easier than it is, you know. So.
Coming out has evolved over time and has become more accepted in society. At the moment, there are still places that don't accept the LGBTQ+ society as something good, and the idea is mostly rejected in the South. Being LGBTQ+ was seen as a negative thing and could even send somebody to jail or rehab. People were shocked, abused, and people attempted to beat the attraction out of them. Today, you can't be sent to jail for having these attractions. There are parades and national holidays dedicated to the LGBTQ+ movement. Acceptance does fluctuate on the morals and ideals of certain people have. As generations go on, children will be raised in more accepting cultures and be exposed to more opinions on the topic. I believe the negative stigma attached to the LGBTQ+ relationships will fade over time.
Wait. Can I sit there? I was kind of waiting for somebody.
Yeah, I know.
It's Brad.
It's you. It's me.